Hello everyone, welcome to the course Radar Engineering. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the delay line cancellers. In that, I have briefly explained about the importance of DLC in MTI radar and also derived a very useful expression, that is frequency response function h of f of a single delay line canceller. Today, I will be covering the very important topic, which is limitations of MTI with delay line canceller, and it is a continuation of the previous lecture. As a part of the today's topic, the following headings are my contents of the presentation. The very first topic which I am interested to deal with is on blind speeds. I will start from the definition of the blind speed. I will give some various forms for the blind speed equation, and at last the methods for reducing the effects of the blind speeds. The second very useful topic is on clutter attenuation. So to analyze the clutter attenuation, first I will introduce the topic and then we can give some mathematical model for clutter attenuation. At last, we can solve some numerical problems on blind speeds and clutter attenuation. Before moving on to the actual topic, blind speeds and clutter attenuation, let us have a quick recap which we have covered in the previous lecture, the frequency response of the single delay line canceller. In the last lecture, we have considered a single delay line canceller. Assumed that at the input the magnitude is k, and after the subtraction v1 minus v2 we got some cosine function which was having a magnitude of 2k sine phi fd tp. So this is the output magnitude and this is the input magnitude to the single delay line canceller. By taking the ratio of the output magnitude to the input magnitude, we get this function, and this function is the magnitude of the frequency response of a single delay line canceller, and it is given by 2 sine phi fd tp, and the graphical representation of this function is plotted here. You can see here the response of this DLC is giving 0 value at fd equals to 0, at 1 by tp, at 2 by tp, and integer multiples of 1 by tp. That means this fd equals to 0, fp, 2 fp, 3 fp, and the integer multiple of fp, we get a 0 response. The meaning here is the single delay line canceller is able to eliminate the fixed clutter at these frequencies. Ideally speaking, your SDLC has to give 0 response at only fd equals to 0. Unfortunately, it is also giving at other fd values. This is not desirable, because your clutter echoes are stationary targets which are not having a Doppler frequency shift, which will not produce a Doppler frequency shift. Only at that frequency fd equals to 0, your delay line canceller should give 0 response, not at the other frequencies. But unfortunately, we are also getting 0 response at the other values of fd. Whenever we have fd not equals to 0, that means there are some targets which are moving. There we should not expect a 0 response, but unfortunate situation where we are also getting 0 response at other values of fd other than 0. The actual discussion start from this point, the limitations of MTI radar with DLC. The first limitation, which is known as blind speed. The second limitation is insufficient clutter attenuation, which is due to finite width of the clutter spectrum. In the last lecture, just introduce these limitations we have introduced, and also I asked some questions how to limit these drawbacks and what are the controlling parameters, what are the design issues to overcome these limitations for optimum performance in the detection of the moving target. So we get answers for these three questions today by discussing in detail the concepts of blind speeds and clutter attenuation. We will see one by one what is blind speed, what is clutter attenuation, what are the methods which are normally suggested by the experts to avoid these limitations or to overcome these limitations in the detection of the moving targets. What is blind speed? Let us take the definition. As we have seen in the last slide, while discussing the frequency response of the single delay line canceller, we have observed that the response of the single delay line canceller is 0 whenever the magnitude sin pi fdTP equals to 0. This is a function, h of f function, and when it is equals to 0, then my DLC is giving 0 response. And when this function is going to be 0? Only when this argument pi fdTP, when it satisfies certain values. When this pi fdTP equals to 0, plus or minus pi, plus or minus 2 pi, and integer multiple of pi, say n pi, where n can take value from 0 to infinity. When this argument satisfies with these values, then this function gives 0. In general, this argument pi fdTP is equated to n pi. That means whenever this integer multiple of the pi is substituted in this equation, we get a 0. We know that the concept of Doppler frequency shift. We know the equation for Doppler frequency shift, that is given by Fd. It is equals to 2 times Vr divided by lambda, and here Vr is the relative velocity between the moving target and the radar. To arrive at the definition of the blind speed, it is very important to look at these positions where the DLC response is 0. We are only focused looking onto these frequencies, and here frequency is not the transmitted frequency, the frequency is the Doppler frequency shift, that is Fd. This is not the transmitted frequency, this is Fd, Doppler frequency. So please kindly take these values other than 0, 1 by Tp, 2 by Tp, 3 by Tp up to n by Tp. Okay, we know that 1 by Tp is nothing but Fp, pulse repetition frequency. Okay, Fp, 2Fp, 3Fp, 4Fp up to NFP. So Doppler frequency shift, where the response is 0, okay, this is equals to n by Tp, and conversely it is given by n into Fp, where n value can take a value from 0 to infinity. So this states that in addition to the 0 response at Fd equals to 0, there will also be a 0 response at the DLC whenever the Fd value equals to multiple of PRF, the integer multiple of PRF, equating this Fd 2Vr by lambda equals to n by Tp, which is equals to n into Fp, rearranging this equation for Vr. The Vr term is simply replaced by Vn, and it is given by n into lambda divided by 2 into Tp. It is nothing but n into lambda divided by 2, 1 by Tp is Fp. N can take value from 1 to infinity. Some velocities are there which cannot be identified by the radar system at the receiver with the help of DLC. Those velocities which results in zero MTI response are normally known as blind speeds. You can see this plot. At n equals to 0, at Ft equals to 0, the response is 0. That is desirable. But if your DLC is also giving at other values of Fd, that is not desirable. Some velocity, if Fd value is not equals to 0 means some velocity is to be calculated and some velocity is to be identified. If you are not able to identify that velocity, then that results into the concept called blind speed. These relative target velocities which results in zero MTI response are normally known as blind speed, and it is given by this equation. Vn equals to n lambda divided by 2 Tp equals to n lambda Fp by 2, and it starts from 1. Okay, when n equals to 1, it is called as a first blind speed. When n equals to 2, it is referred as a second blind speed, and so on. And kindly note here, take a note, usually the first blind speed V1 is normally considered since others are integer multiple of V2. That means V2 equals to 2 times V1, V3 equals to 3 times V1, and so on. If you know the lowest blind speed, which is V1, you can able to calculate the other blind speeds by multiplying with the integer value. Various forms of blind speeds. How do we interpret the blind speed equations? So we have derived already V1 equals to lambda into Fp divided by 2. That is equals to 0.5 into lambda into Fp. Say for example, the usual notations are to be like this. If lambda is measured in meters and your F is measured in terms of hertz, where F is not the transmitted frequency, it is Fp, and V1 is measured in meters per second, this is the unit of velocity, and considered the first blind speed when n equals to 1, then the first blind speed can be written as V1, which is measured in terms of meters per second, which is equals to 0.5 into lambda into Fp. So this is a general equation. This is a conventional equation normally used. In case if the velocity is not measured in meters per second, if it is measured in knots, then what is the equation of the V1? Please remember this relation. 1 knot is equals to 0.5144 meters per second. If the data is given in terms of meters per second, how to convert that into knots? Just multiply 1.973. So here by multiplying 0.5 into 1.973, we get 0.97, because we want velocity in terms of knots. We know that 1 meters per second equals to 1.973 knots. So in order to express in terms of knots, we have to multiply 1.973. So by multiplying 1.973 to this equation, we get V1 equation. This is second form of blind speed equation. If you want to directly calculate the velocity in terms of knots, you can use this equation just directly 0.97 into lambda into Fp, and it's almost approximately equals to 1, so it is approximately given by lambda into Fp. If you know the transmitted frequency or lambda and pulse repetition frequency, you can easily calculate the velocity in terms of knots. Are there any methods for reducing the effects of the blind speeds? Yes, there are some methods which are suggested by the experts who are in the field of radar communication. There are 4 methods for reducing the effects of the blind speeds. The first method suggested is operate the radar at long wavelengths. That means you operate the radar at a low frequency so that you can reduce the effect of the blind speed. Or you can operate the radar with a high PRF. If you take a high PRF value in the transmitted waveform, then you can able to reduce the effects of the blind speed, because you know that your blind speed is inversely proportional to the PRF. By taking higher value of PRF, you can reduce the effect of the blind speed. Also, you can operate the radar with more than one PRF. If you get a blind speed at one particular PRF, the other PRF can be used for the regular operation. Or you can use a radar by operating with more than one RF frequency or wavelength. If a one wavelength or RF frequency may get affected by the blind speed, the other can be used. It is not mandatory that only one method at a time can be used. It is also suggested to take a combination of 2 or more of the above mentioned methods to further nullify the effects of the blind speeds. You can take the combination of any of these methods, and it is observed that there is no one best single solution for all cases. You have to decide which of these above limitations can be accepted in the particular application. Each of these methods has particular advantages as well as limitations. So there is no clear choice for us to use a particular method for any particular application. That's why in some circumstances it might be desirable to tolerate the blind speeds rather than accepting the limitations of these methods. So that's why a clear picture is given in this box, mentioning there is no one best single solution for all cases. We have to decide how to accept these limitations of these using methods for particular application. Otherwise, you accept the limitations of the blind speed rather than accepting the limitations of these methods. The next limitation is clutter attenuation. You can see in this figure the clutter spectrum at 0 frequency is not a delta function. You can see there is a finite width in the clutter spectrum at 0 frequency, and also at every 1 by Tp, 2 by Tp, 3 by Tp integer multiple of Fp, there are foldovers, clutter foldovers. So these are the clutter spectrum foldovers. Not only at Fd equals to 0, also you have foldovers at every Fd values equals to n Fp. So due to this finite width, an uncancelled clutter residue that will interfere with the detection of the moving target. So this is the actual pass band of the DLC. So for time being I have considered two frequency responses, one from the single delay line canceller which is shown with a dark line, single cancellation. This is due to single cancellation, and there is a dotted line showing this is the response due to double cancellation, and this shaded line are the area where represents the clutter spectrum. You can see this clutter spectrum is interfering with the pass band area of the DLC. That results into uncancelled clutter residue, because a clutter spectrum, whenever it comes within the region of the pass band of the DLC, that cannot be completely cancelled out. And if any targets which are there in this particular area are not going to be detected, because this spectrum which is going to be interfere with the detection of the moving target. So how to avoid this situation? How to reduce this clutter spectrum? So we should attenuate it. We should attenuate the clutter spectrum. So there should be a sufficient attenuation to be provided at the DLC to avoid this interference with the detection of the moving target. So insufficient attenuation of the clutter that results from the finite width of the clutter spectrum. So we will try to reduce the width. Ideally, we expect there should be a clutter spectrum is simply like a delta function with a zero width, but practically we cannot have such kind of a spectrum. We have to tolerate, and there are some trade-offs. In order to understand the nature of the clutter spectrum and the behavior of the clutter, we need to model it. If the clutter spectrum is deterministic, we can easily model it. If it is random in nature, then we have to take some standard mathematical function which is almost like a same as the clutter spectrum, then we can able to approximate. Here in this case I am considering a Gaussian distribution, because the clutter spectrum which is almost be like a Gaussian distribution. That's why I am considering a standard Gaussian distribution to model the clutter, because your clutter is random in nature. So I am taking the reference of the Gaussian distribution. I will assume that your clutter spectrum is also having the same kind of distribution as that of the Gaussian distribution. The clutter power spectral density is represented by the Gaussian function, and it is given by W of f. We all know that what is the equation of the PDF of the Gaussian distribution, which is given by some constant into exponential of minus x by 2 sigma whole to the power 2, where mu is equal to 0. The mean value is 0 for Gaussian distribution. In the same way, if I relate and if I write a PSD of the clutter, it is to be like this. W naught is a constant the maximum value of that one w of a function at f equals to 0 into exponential, and this is a random variable f, where f represents the Doppler frequency f square divided by 2 into, this is the standard deviation, sigma c square. Okay, and you can represent in other way in terms of sigma v, where sigma c is the standard deviation of the clutter spectrum expressed in terms of hertz, and sigma v is the standard deviation of the clutter spectrum which is expressed in terms of meters per second. We know the relation from the Doppler frequency shift, right? Fd equals to 2 Vr by lambda. In the same way, if I equate sigma c equals to 2 sigma v divided by lambda. Wherever I have sigma c, I am replacing that with sigma v. With this relation, we get w naught exponential of minus f square lambda square divided by 8 sigma v square. With the help of this function, you can able to mathematically analyze the behavior of the clutter. Thereby, you can reduce the effects of the clutter spectrum which is going to interfere with the detection of the moving target. How to control it? Only possibility is by controlling the standard deviation value. Take a note, if you take a greater value of the sigma c, that results into the greater amount of clutter spectrum that will be passed by the filter to interfere with the moving target detection. So, to avoid the effect of the clutter spectrum in the detection process, we need to consider the smallest value of sigma c. Because this f value is fixed, this is a Doppler frequency shift which you get from the received echo, right, from the moving target based upon the direction of the target moving and the distance between the target and the radar. Based on that, this fd will be fixed. Only there is a possibility is to tune this standard deviation equation and this w naught, so that you can effectively control the effect of the clutter spectrum interference. Thereby, we can attenuate larger amount of clutter spectrum. Now, we are going to derive the clutter attenuation considering a single delay line canceller. So, this is equation to calculate clutter attenuation. This is the ratio of the integration of this power spectral density function over 0 to infinity divided by the integration over 0 to infinity the product w of f into the square of the frequency response function of the given DLC. If I take a single DLC, what is my h of f? My h of f value is 2 sin pi fd tp. That is my h of f function. If you square it, we get 4 sin square pi fd tp, and this is the power spectral density of the function of the clutter. Okay, by solving this, it is not a very simple solution. By applying some numerical methods, you can solve this equation, and we get 0.5 divided by 1 minus exponential of minus 2 pi square tp square sigma c square. You can approximate this denominator equation by this identity. Say this argument is considered to be x. If x is very small, then exponential of minus x can be approximated as 1 by 1 minus x. So, with the same concept, if I take this exponential of minus 2 pi square tp square sigma c square equals to 1 minus this value, because this is very small in reality, 1 minus 1 minus into minus plus 2 pi square tp square sigma c square. 1 get cancels, we get 0.5 divided by 2 pi square tp square sigma c square. We know that 1 by tp is equals to fp. So if I take 1 by tp square as fp square divided by this 0.5 is 1 by 2, so in the denominator 4 pi square sigma c square. So this is the clutter attenuation equation for single Deligne canceller, because this is fixed. Only this much amount of clutter can be attenuated maximum with the help of single Deligne canceller by choosing the appropriate value of this sigma c and fp. Okay. And what happens if I take double Deligne canceller? If the clutter attenuation is not sufficient enough for your application, you can go with double Deligne canceller. Okay, let us consider double Deligne canceller, where two single Deligne cancellers are connected in series to form a double Deligne canceller. The same input is applied here. The output response from this double Deligne canceller is equals to the square of the h of f, that is nothing but 4 sine square pi of the tp. Whenever you cascade two systems, we get a square of the response, magnitude response. So it is 4 sine square pi of the tp. In the same way, if I calculate clutter attenuation for a double Deligne canceller, so only difference here is the W of f is same, h of f for double Deligne canceller is 4 sine square pi of dtp. If I square it, we get 16 sine power 4 into pi of dtp df. By solving this equation, we get final equation like this. You can either express in terms of sigma c or you can express in terms of sigma v. What is the advantage of expressing sigma v in terms of sigma v? Because your sigma v is independent of the frequency, because it is expressed in terms of meters per second, and your sigma c is dependent on the frequency. It is expressed in hertz. So whatever the best possible way that you can interpret, you can use either sigma c or sigma v. So this is a clutter attenuation for the double Deligne canceller. And final conclusion which we can make out from this discussion is, less of the clutter spectrum is included within the frequency response of the double Deligne canceller. Hence it attenuates more of the clutter. The meaning here is, if you use a double Deligne canceller, we can able to get more attenuation. We can able to attenuate more of the clutter spectrum, because when I increase the value of n, the n is the power to this sine function, the frequency response function, if you plot it, it becomes narrow and narrow. Then the interference expected by the clutter is going to be reduced and reduced as you take as many number of single Deligne cancellers in series. But also there are some limitations. You cannot increase as you like. Up to certain extent you can cascade, right? If I take infinite number of single Deligne canceller, then the passband area becomes very narrow. You cannot able to detect the desired moving targets, because bandwidth is important. You are going to lose the bandwidth, pass band, as you take number of DLCs in series. Also you need to look into that. This is the last part of the presentation. We are going to solve some numericals on blind speeds and clutter attenuation. A simple problem. An MTI radar uses a PRF of 1000 Hz at 4 GHz. Compute the lowest blind speed of the radar. Also calculate the second and third blind speed of the radar. Okay. The given data are pulse repetition frequency and transmitted frequency. We all know that from the previous derivation we have an equation for blind speed. Vn equals to n into lambda into fp divided by 2 or 0.5 into lambda into fp into n. If you take n value as 1, that is the lowest blind speed. It is given by V1 equals to lambda into fp by 2. By calculating the lambda, where lambda is equal to c by ft, you need to be very careful here. The frequency ft is the transmitted frequency and this fp is the pulse repetition frequency which is related to the transmitted waveform. When you transmit series of pulses, the duration between the two successive pulses is Tp. The inverse of Tp is Fp, which is given 1000 Hz. Number of pulses are transmitted per second. The lowest blind speed is obtained when n equals to 1. It is V1 and it is 37.5 meters per second. As we have seen before, that the lowest blind speed is sufficient enough for us to calculate the other blind speeds. If you want to calculate the second blind speed, just take 2 times of V1. If you want to calculate V3, take 3 times of V1. That's it. V1 equals to 37.5 meters per second and V2 is 2 times of this. This is 75 meters per second, and 3 times of this, it is 112.5 meters per second. This is very simple problem. The second problem, it is related to clutter attenuation. Calculate the clutter attenuation for the double delay line canceller if the transmitted frequency is 250 MHz and maximum unambiguous range of 300 km, and clutter standard deviation is given, which is given by 0.3 meters per second. Okay, sigma v is given. So take this data. So clutter attenuation for the double delay line canceller is given by this equation, where we have lambda, we have sigma v, but fp is not directly given. How to calculate fp? There is a relation between the maximum unambiguous range and the PRF. The PRF in terms of R unambiguous is given by C divided by 2 into R unambiguous with this relation. From this relation you calculate, we get 500 Hz. So substitute in this equation, finally we get 2.14 into 10 to the power 8. You can even express in terms of dB by taking 10 lakh to that. If you want, if this value is not sufficient for your problem, then take triple delay lines. Still not sufficient, go on increasing the value of n. This is the end of the problem. And finally, there is a weakness of assessing the clutter attenuation. What is that? And we expect, as a radar operators at the receiver, the clutter attenuation to be of larger extent. But sometimes, unfortunately, the value of the clutter attenuation made to be infinite. just by turning off the radar receiver. And this would not be done knowingly. Unknowingly, if the radar receiver is turned off, we are able to get the clutter attenuation equals to infinity. Because when the radar receiver is half, means the response from the radar receiver is 0. That means h of f value is equal to 0, and the clutter attenuation is inversely proportional to the h of f. When h of f is 0, then clutter attenuation becomes infinity. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Clutter attenuation is infinity. That means that there is no clutter spectrum at all in the existing passband of the DLC. So we will eliminate the desired moving target echo signal. It may be assumed that there is no clutter, but there will be a clutter due to this misinterpretation. It also eliminates the desired moving target echo signals. So there is a question how to avoid this problem of increasing the clutter attenuation at the expense of the desired targets. Because if you try to make that value infinity knowingly or unknowingly by turning off the radar receiver, the value is seem to be infinity. If you assume that the value is infinity, okay, then there are no clutter effects, and you believe that the moving targets are safe. So there may be a problem like this arises. So how to avoid this problem of increasing the clutter attenuation at the expense of the desired targets? Desired targets are moving targets. So there is only one solution. IEEE has defined a very popular term, which is MTI improvement factor. It is not only considering the clutter attenuation, along with it also considers average gain of the DLC. This is the product of CA into gain of the DLC. So this is the MTI improvement factor. So in the next lecture we will see what is MTI improvement factor along with some filter concepts which we normally use at the radar receivers for the detection of moving targets in the presence of the large clutter echoes. Thank you.